In the 90s, Playmates Toys made the deepest line of Star Trek action figures in history. My name's Keith, and I'm a collector working towards owning all 284. I've been a Trek fan for almost 35 years, and most people are sick of me talking about it. But somehow I've convinced my old friend Mike to review them with me on Look at My Star Trek Toys! What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Look at My Star Trek Toys, a little show in which I show my buddy Mike and Deglio my Star Trek toys, specifically the Playmates 4.5-inch figures. What is going on? You know, you were a hot mess last week. You look like you're going to be a hot mess again today.
Well, all I've done between last week and this week is turn my hat around and to try to disguise that we're shooting them back to back, but
I don't think it worked.
It did not. It did not work.
It did not work at all. Well,
here we
all
are.
right. Well, you know, but regardless of what's going on with Mike and I, we're still going to show you some really cool figures. But before we do, we do what we do every week, and that is we beg you for subscribers and for money on our patreon.com/K&M. You can get all sorts of awesome bonus material. We get extra episodes, we have AMAs, you can communicate with us, and you can join these fine folks that Mike is going to tell you about.
Oh, it's our good friends Beam 'em In, Brian Kaufman, Casey Clark, Cloud Lover 69, Jorge Navoa, The Mysterious Ann, Alan Zimmerman, CRM Productions, Charles Babbage, and I hope Keith's going to have to make more slides with more names in the future. If you can't help us financially, and we hope you can, but if you cannot, we understand. You can go ahead and like and subscribe right below my name here. Tell a friend.
Yes, indeed.
That helps.
Yeah, and here's the thing. For these subscribers, right? I've been teasing it for a bit now, but now Mike and I have actually filmed our reaction episode because when we hit 500, that as of this moment, when we are filming this, we are only 37 subscribers short of releasing Star Trek The Wrath of Niner, starring 12-year-old me. Mike, how would you describe Star Trek The Wrath of Niner?
Well, it's like a lot of things from your past that you remember fondly and then revisit.
And they're spectacular.
Yeah. And then you show them to your friends and you're like, oh my God, isn't this like the most amazing thing you've seen? And your friends are like, yeah, that's a thing I saw. So don't you want to also see that thing?
You will be casting no aspersions about the flawless episode of The Next Generation I filmed in my basement with my younger brother. You don't want to miss it. So if you have already subscribed.
I feel as strongly about that episode, Keith, that lost episode of the TNG, The Wrath of Niner, as you do of Mr. Spock.
Indeed. So it is awesome. All right. So yeah, lots of fun stuff to talk about. Today, we're going to do some guest stars, some recurring stars, some alternates, uniforms, maybe alternate universes. I don't know. We'll see from the original series. So what do you say we begin with figure number 16154, and that is Harry Mudd.
Whoa!
Now, you didn't know they made a figure of me. So here's the question: have you seen any of the Harry Mudd episodes?
I must have, because this seems familiar, or at least the actor does. Maybe it's Roger Carmel that I'm recognizing, but something about this. Or maybe I'm just picturing Jesus Christ Superstar. He's giving me Herod vibes.
He definitely gives Herod vibes. Yes.
Tell me more.
So Harry Mudd is a bit of a scamp. Always, he enjoys the ladies and causing trouble. Has a little bit, he's a little full of himself. Played by Roger C. Carmel in a iconic performance in 2 different episodes of the original series, I, Mudd and Mudd's Women. It's pretty cool if you're good enough as a guest star and you get a sequel. episode, you know you've crushed it. So, uh, really fun character from the original series, and a fun figure. You don't see a lot of full figured figures.
It's true.
But I do I do enjoy it. I mean, I think that the costume representation here is excellent. They've got all the what would you call them, bips and bobs?
The bibs and bobs. They really were specific about his hairline, which I think is um, both very accurate, comedic, and unfortunate for Roger's family. When they're like, "Oh, check him out, we got a figure." Oh yeah, they really nailed it.
Well, okay, so there's two things going on. One, yes, they did a lot of, let's say, specific choices on the hair, which were accurate. Also, this particular figure that I own, if you go to Toy Cam,
It's taking a beating.
arrived at my house. Did take a bit of a header. I don't know. I don't know what happened to him,
He
but
was a dog favorite. He was a dog favorite.
something happened. You know, these figures are 30 years old, and sometimes you don't always get them in the packaging, and they come how they come. So I think it just adds a little extra patina, a little extra flavor
Hmm.
to the hair. That is an unforgiving haircut.
Ooh.
I think I think this is the stage where I just cut it all off. That would be
Yeah, we
that'd
all
be
have
where
one of
I'm
those
at.
friends who you're always on the verge where you're like, I think it's time you consider giving
Yeah.
her the old chip chop.
Yeah, yeah. That we all have that moment. We all have to make those decisions, and you know. And to be fair, I'm creeping up. I'm creeping up. I think both of us, let's say, aged or mature gentlemen,
Hmm.
are both mainly just grateful to still have hair.
Yeah.
But the time will come. The time will come.
Now,
Sir.
the only thing I'm a little disappointed on here is that, like myself, Harry Mudd is a hair suit, if you would. And it doesn't look like they gave him. He didn't get an Agent Keith because of that chest hair. I'll tell you that much. 'Cause
Oh,
they did not represent that on the figure.
that's true. That's a really good catch.
They gave him the plunging V, but none of the
no, and this
none
is
of the
back in
wild
the
mane.
'60s. You know, this is the Burt Reynolds days,
Burt Reynolds.
where
Yeah,
where you were proud of your luxurious mane of chest hair.
yeah.
But
His chest hair is almost connecting to his mustache. I mean, it's
I mean,
thorough.
it's all the way there. Yeah, and you're right. Yeah, where's all the chest hair? I feel like if he did all of that with his comb over, you know, complete the picture, right?
Yeah, right.
Give the man his due. He's not he doesn't have less hair than most people. It's just redistributed just a little bit. Anyway, so yeah, fun figure. And certainly it sticks out on the shelf. I don't know if the facial sculpt is great.
Right.
You know, like the hair's great, the mustache is great, the eyes feel wrong.
Yeah.
Um but you know, it's still very recognizable. It's very
He's
clear
also
who it
giving
is.
me correct me if I'm wrong. He's giving me Captain Crunch vibes.
Captain Crunch. Yes. Yes, with like the
Nailed
epaulets and
it.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, nailed it.
Yeah, all right. You couldn't pull it up fast enough. You couldn't find an
No,
embarrassing
I didn't
picture
know
of
if we'd
Captain
hit.
Crunch to
We'd,
put up.
I don't know if that's. I don't want to advertise that cereal for free.
Why not? Captain Crunch is delicious.
It is.
So I know Playmates is going to send me some stuff to review. Captain Crunch, if you care to send us some delicious traditional crunch with crunch berries. I've had the peanut butter crunch recently.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, you can't mess with it. You can't mess with the original, man. The original is the original.
I don't know. I think for me it's the regular Captain Crunch with crunch berries. That's my jam. And then
Alright.
you know I eat them dry, and then I'll eat the regular ones and leave the berries last. That's how my
You
brain
gotta
works.
give it some time though, because if it's too hard in the beginning, you know what I mean. You got to let it soak up a little milk.
No, I don't do. There it is. Oh, totally Captain Crunch.
100%.
Maybe Captain Crunch is ripped off from Harry Mudd. Could very well be. So, Mike, did you know that Harry Mudd has returned to the Star Trek universe?
No, in which way? And how so, Keith?
Harry Mudd showed up in Discovery,
No.
played by legendary actor from. All right, I'm not going to tell you his most famous credit, but I'm going to give you one, see if you can guess. He was in House of 1,000 Corpses, then one of the most successful sitcoms of all time. The #1 streamed sitcom in the world.
Friends?
No. More contemporary.
Scrubs?
I
don't know. What's the most streamed sitcom?
The Office.
Oh.
Yes, Harry Mudd is now played by Rainn Wilson.
Oh, that makes sense. I could see that.
No, totally. And I think the best episode of Discovery's first season, for sure. It was the most like Star Trek. It's like, and he had like a cool time travel thing going on. It was really fun. So I hope that Rainn Wilson will come back and give us some more Mudd. But
let me tell you, Keith, for the past 6 figures now, going back to next week, it's been a sausage fest up in here. Weren't there any ladies in the
It has been.
Series?
We do have some ladies, and I'm so glad you put it that way. Anyway, we're going to move forward and talk about figure number 6447, Nurse Christine Chapel. So, Mike, as we just recorded an episode of Deep Space Nine, tell me who this is.
Keith, could this be the first lady of Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry's side piece, become his main piece, Majel Barrett?
It is indeed. Here in the original series as Nurse Chapel with no pants because 60s men, so on and so forth. She did 26 episodes as Nurse Chapel and also was in Star Trek The Motion Picture and Star Trek 4 as this character. She did double duty all the way back in the original series as the voice of the computer, would continue to be the voice of the Federation computer all the way through Voyager.
And Bones has an opinion, apparently.
Yeah, Bones has feelings about it. But do you know, this is not her first character on Star Trek, even way back here in the original series.
Wait.
I told you this story before. What is Mike's recall? What can Mike remember from 3 days ago when we recorded that episode?
Wasn't she supposed to be #1?
That's right. She was supposed to be the first officer on the Enterprise. Wow. Mike remembered something from 3 days ago. I'm so proud of him. Yeah, I'm not proud of the fit of the costume she was wearing in this episode. As we talked about last week, it feels like they found some costumes in the costume shop and like, put a just I don't know, sew a little Star Trek thing on it.
If you're gonna put her in like a skimp, you might as well make it sexy.
Fit, or at the very least fit.
At the very least, yeah.
Like vaguely be human shaped.
I like that she's so alt though. Speaking of, we're doing an alt episode. She's like, you know what? I'm wearing a short, but I'm giving you full high-rise boots.
Oh, well, the boots were a big deal. The boots were a big part of Go-Go 60s and Go-Go Star Trek. So, yeah, it's an interesting figure. It does accurately represent the sort of like big swoopy shoulder thingies that she wore. I don't know if the head sculpt or the hair sculpt matches particularly well, in my opinion. But
yeah. That's a hell of an updo, though. I don't know how you replicate that.
I don't know how you replicate any of it. But yeah, no, I mean, it's an interesting figure. I mean, I like the fact that we have the shoulder articulation. We do not have thigh articulation. The legs are a little weird. They're sort of like two pencils.
Yeah. Let me tell you what I love about the design, though.
Yeah.
About where we are in the original series, wherever this may be. I think that and even today, like as Trek progressed, they went a little more conservative with the communicator. I like it big and bold. I like a big, bold communicator because it's kind of the centerpiece of everything. We talked about it. It's like they use it constantly. It's constantly referenced. It's constantly in use. Let's make it bold, make it big, make it sparkly, make it the thing. I like it here.
I mean, yes, and they weren't communicators then.
Oh,
They
were
were
like
just patches.
Oh.
Because don't you remember the Kirk and Spock? They had the flip phone.
Oh, right. Well,
That's what
there
they
you go.
communicated with. So they weren't the communication devices until Next Generation. But yeah, I mean they're big and bold, and yeah, it certainly draws the eye. It's cool. So the last thing I'll say about Nurse Christine Chapel is she's now being played by Jess Bush on Strange New Worlds. So the fun thing about all of these original series characters is now the characters themselves are so iconic, they've been handed off like Batman or like Superman to a next generation of actors to play these iconic characters. So anyway, that's cool. Glad to see the legacy of that character continuing, including number 1 is also back. So let us now move forward to our next female character from the original series, and that is figure number 6449, Yeoman Janice Rand. Here she is, Mike.
So it's the same thing. They just like gave her a little bit of different hair, and we're like, "This is the other girl."
Well, no.
Actually, her facial sculpt is a little better, I have to say.
Her facial sculpt is better. That looks more like Grace Lee Whitney for sure. Yeah, there's actually some subtle differences in the body sculpt.
Give me the leggings. If you're gonna do the leggings, give me the leggings.
Give me the leggings. Yeah, we know what I was saying something felt off about the legs in these figures, and that is if you're not going to wear any pants, right?
Yeah,
and it's
we're
just
gonna
like
see your knee bolts.
The knee bolts really stick out, which you don't when you're wearing black, you don't really notice it as much. But right here, those knee bolts really stick out. So if actually go to Toy Cam, and I will show you that these figures
Toy Cam.
actually are different because they have completely different necklines.
Oh yeah.
Because the nurse has the big sort of big collar. She pops a big collar, and then as a result has to move the delta. And
well, since you're playing with the toys, Keith, have them discuss with each other that it's a little sexist the way that they're being portrayed.
Yeah, that's a. Would this fly today? I don't think it would. I don't know. I feel like we could have had pants. Nah. Gene was like, "Don't have pants." I'm like, "You sure we can't have pants?" No, you definitely can. There's no pants in space. Yeah, we talked to George Lucas. He convinced Carrie Fisher there's no underwear in space too. Gross. All right, so there's
was awesome. We need to do that more. That is a bit that will return.
That was a disaster.
No, I was freaking riveted. It got all kinds of meta when Jean was asking her to take her pants off, and it was like a whole thing.
It's weird. Anyway, so Grace Lee Whitney did 8 episodes of the original series. Her journey and story in the production of that show got grim. But she did reappear in the movie series. She was in the motion picture Star Trek 3, Star Trek 4, Star Trek 6, and 1 episode of Star Trek Voyager. And at one Star Trek convention that I attended when I was 11 years old, and was quite charming in the panel. So,
Keith,
yeah,
I'm gonna do it. I need you to now play act with Grace Lee Whitney, and I need you to get your Keith figure since one exists, and I need them to interact at the panel. People demand it. I demand it.
Okay. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, because we have our own action figures, because that's somehow a thing that has happened, we are now going to go back to Toy Cam. And,
all right, here we go. Back off the Toy Cam. Hey, I'm 11. Hi, I'm Grace Lee Whitney. I was on Star Trek. I'm really into Next Generation. I don't think I'd remember who you are, but I was on Star Trek. Oh, you're awesome anyway.
Keith, tell her that in 20 years you're going to have your own action figure and you do a web series about toys.
To which she would reply, Web of what? A spider web? What are you talking about? There's no such thing. Also, you don't look like you're going to have enough friends to do a two-person show.
Keith, that action figure is very in shape of you.
Look, it's all how we see ourselves in our head,
Right.
okay?
You're right.
It's all how we imagine ourselves to be.
I'm not shaming you, Keith. You look good to me, but if you ever need to just turn into goo into my arms, you can do it, okay?
Thanks. Nobody clipped that out. All right, so that's what friends are for. Yes, we just did the Deep Space Nine episode. I keep thinking Misbegotten. No. Anyway, it's a fantastic episode with none other than Majel Barrett. So let us now move forward to a different type of character. In fact, from possibly a different universe, Mike. Did you know that we travel the multiverse in Star Trek well before we do in Marvel?
No.
Well, let me show you how in figure number 65105. And this is Mirror Spock.
Oh, he's swashbuckling.
Yes, it's evil Spock. So, did you know that in Star Trek, there is a mirror universe where everything's sort of backwards and the good guys are bad guys and bad guys are good guys?
I did not know that. That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it's super fun. This whole other universe going on where the Terrans, i.e. the humans, are the bad guys, and it gets all crazy. And we visit this alternate universe many times in Star Trek lore, but this is the first time we do in the episode Mirror, Mirror. And, you know, the trope of once you get a goatee, you're evil comes from this episode.
Okay.
Yeah. So, throw a goatee on Spock, and that dude is evil. And he's got more flair.
I see it, though. It looks good.
Yeah. And, you know, obviously bad guys have a lot of flair, as well as this cool dagger that's actually is removable. It's attached onto the figure. Go to Toy Cam, and I'll show you the dagger here.
First, this is what I see.
Oh, Don Quixote. Sure. I saw that production.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. That was the Broadway production. It's 2002, 2001. Brian Stokes Mitchell. Anyway, yeah. So he has the cool. He's got the shiv. He's got a side shiv here.
Side shiv, yeah.
And they actually have a hole drilled into the figure so he can so the shiv can stay there, as well as his sash. So yeah, I actually really like this figure. It has a lot of personality. I think the gold sash is a really nice touch. The goatee obviously looks really cool. And if we put it next to regular Spock, you can see it's a completely different facial sculpt. And to be fair, it also does look like the stunt man. it like, you know how you see all those pictures of actors with their stunts, and it's like, oh, that vaguely looks like it's the same costume, but
the most egregious version of that I've seen lately is the FX show The Old Man with, oh my goodness, I'm blanking on his name. It's John Lithgow and
I've never even heard of it.
Oh no, this is gonna bug me. The dude.
This is great. This is such good TV.
You know the dude.
You know the guy. He's old.
The guy who plays the dude.
I have no idea what you were talking about. Here, I'm gonna.
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff
Bridges. Keith. Jeff Bridges. Yeah.
I'm Mike Indeglio. I don't know what I'm saying.
It's Jeff Bridges, and his stunt guy basically looks like Adam Pascal, like with just like a white beard on and and just completely different looking person does all the stunts than Jeff Bridges. It's pretty funny.
Well, you know, Star Trek is famous for their stunt people being a little well lit, maybe not well edited. There's first season of Next Generation has some amazing, horribly obvious stunt folks on there. But anyway, so that's that figure. Yeah, I don't think I'd looked at the facial sculpt as closely until I just did that, and I'm like, ooh, wow, that's
They really
something.
kind of phoned in the choking hazards here too, didn't they? It's like green thing.
Well, you have a well, that's the computer monitor from the original
Hmm.
series. However, you do get the cool ass
Yeah,
actual
side
painted
shiv.
phaser,
Yeah,
which
and the phaser. Yeah, cool.
I mean the phaser is super cool, and I think they obviously they made a mess of them and gave them out with a lot of those figures, but with that, with like a phaser where most of the characters are going to have one, you might as well just mass produce them and include one in all of them. So I actually have the that phaser here. It's cool.
That's cool.
It looks great. You can see the paint on the top there. A
Yeah,
lot
and
of
I gotta
detail
say,
work.
Star Trek, it has very iconic weapon designs, which makes sense, and it makes sense why so many people at least have commented on our channel, Keith, about how interested they are in Playmates doing more of the weapon replicas in this new line of
The
toys.
replicas.
The replicas, if you will.
We want more replicas. Yeah. Well, hopefully, the series 1 replicas will sell well, so we can get more of them. That's so all of those Playmates fans, if you're like, oh, I'm so mad you didn't put in such and such, well, you got to buy these ones. Otherwise, they won't make any more. So fingers crossed they sell well. All right, we have one more figure to show you this episode, and this is from the Carbonite Maneuver, and that is figure number 65182, Kirk with the sash. So I had to go back to this episode and scrape the entire episode to figure out what on earth that sash is. Because I didn't understand what it was. So if we go to it's hard to see in the picture there. If we go to Toy Cam, I can show you more carefully
Oh, it's
what
just
that
painted
is.
on his pants?
It's just painted on his pants, and I had no idea what that was because it was subtle and not really ever talked about, and didn't continue. This was the season 1 utility belt. So
Oh.
before they head off in the transporter, we see Kirk putting this on and attaching his phaser and his communicator to the belt because apparently there were no pockets in space. So you had to have the weird little utility belt, which I didn't remember. So part of the fun part about doing these episodes is I get to discover these new pieces of lore.
All right, Keith. Welcome to
Yes.
Varner Studios. It's your first day, and do we have a project
Oh my
for
God.
you?
Oh,
You're
I'm so
working
excited.
on a custom Kirk
A
that
Kirk. Oh man, iconic.
we are going to give an alt look at of Kirk from the first season of the original series. What we're going to need you to do, Keith.
I can't wait. You want me to do like a whole new head sculpt and a new uniform?
I need you to bring with you the smallest paintbrush you can get your hands on.
Okay,
and
so I
need
can
you to
redo.
paint. No.
Uh-huh.
I just need a little teeny gold triangle on his pants.
But you want me to do like a new face? You want to do like the evil Kirk?
Just a little triangle on the pants.
Oh, just a little paint. But you want me to like make it
Nope.
three dimensional? You want me to
No.
add any texture? No, just paint
No.
it.
Yeah, no money for that. I'm just gonna need triangle on the pants and go.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what happened. They just added a tiny bit of paint to the pants to do this. However, it does look exactly like it does on screen because
Yeah.
that's all it was on screen.
So
Was
like
weird.
what utility is on there? Like I'm not finding like what
Well, it's like this little fabric belt that they put around their waist, and I guess it had like Velcro on it, and
Oh,
that's
it
what
comes
they
with some cool
attached the
stuff,
phaser.
though.
Right. So this came in the box set with Baylock and Baylock's puppet. So frequently Playmates, when they put out the box sets, they'd make one or two new figures you hadn't seen, and
Mhm.
then include one that they'd already done with maybe with a little bit of paint difference, the tiniest little difference, which is this is where we get the diseased Kim.
Right.
And this change here with just a little bit of paint saves them a lot of money. right? Because they
Yeah,
can
but
sell.
it makes sense. Okay, that's a horse of a different color because I get it at that point because you are getting
Yeah,
two cool things, two unique things there.
and they found something visually distinct about Kirk and this episode that they could add to a figure, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And he does wear this in this uniform or in this episode, and it all makes sense. So I think that all
That's a
is
cool box set.
fine because at least they
Did we
made
see
some
those other
changes.
two fun ones yet?
We haven't yet, but we
Oh,
will.
those look cool. I'm into it.
Um, which is funny because in those box sets, they almost always were able to make some tiny change, some tiny adaptation, even to the figure that they were duplicating, so it was different. This wasn't always the case. There's a couple examples. There's a Spock in the twin pack with Kirk in his environmental suit. That's just the exact same Spock from the bridge set one. And the only difference, and I was like, I thought I had a duplicate until I went and looked at it. The only difference is the copyright, the copyright stamped on it. Other than that, it's exactly the same figure. And the same thing with Kira and Cisco from the Commanders set, which is actually where we got the dress uniforms for Picard and Riker and Kirk and Spock, but they just put Cisco and Kira's regular Series 1 figures in there as duplicates. So obviously they're trying to save money, but like you could have added something.
Yeah, really.
Add a sash, honestly. All right. Well, that is it for this week. We'll be back next week with, you guessed it, more original series figures, lots of fun stuff to talk about. But Mike, what should people do before they click onto that next video or go back and watch one of our old videos?
Help us out, fam. Like, subscribe, tell a friend. Leave a comment below, even just to say, hey, engagement helps.
Say hey. Yeah.
Yeah. And or check us out at patreon.com/KNM with like all these fine folks. We need producers and we appreciate it. We appreciate it. Thanks to everyone. Keep it peeled. And we got more. I'm going to change hats again, and we're going to do another one, Keith.
We're going to do another one. And I don't know if it will have aired by the time this drops or soon thereafter, but we mentioned last week's. We will be getting reviewer copies of the 2022 lines from Playmates, and we're going to show you all of that. I'm not even going to touch the box until the cameras are rolling, and we'll open up the whole thing and see what they send us and give you a full review of the new line. So, till then, this has been...
Look at my Star Trek toys!